My client Ethan gained £9 in 7 weeks whilst running his business, incredibly successful and made more progress than he had in just 7 weeks than the last 4 years of him trying to do so. But before we deep dive into the system and the full breakdown, I think it's very important that we get to know him a little bit briefly before we go into it so everything makes sense.
Yeah, so I do ads for coaches and service providers, community owners, that sort of thing, which means that I have quite a stationary life. I don't move much. I wasn't exercising much, and yeah, just very busy with business and trying to grow that. Brief summary is that I do ads for people and I help them get clients.
And he had been stuck at the same body weight, around 67 kilos, for 3 to 4 years plus. And that isn't necessarily from a lack of trying, because he's attempted it many times. But like a lot of entrepreneurs, he told me straight up that he feels like it's either business or fitness. And when he went through phases of trying to integrate fitness into his life, he tried to meal prep, he tried to go to the gym, and he tried to do these things to get in shape. And they'd stick for a few days, but then they'd go again because they took over the business. The structure that he was trying to approach getting in shape with didn't necessarily align with the North Star of his essential day-to-day life, which is to grow his business and scale his business. So essentially what he needed to do was integrate fitness into his life in a way that assists him to achieve his goals. And as I mentioned in a previous video, this is a massive mindset that I would encourage all entrepreneurs watching this, whether you're starting your business or you're about to exit your business or whatever, that fitness doesn't necessarily take away from your business, and it's not actually a separate avenue. However, it all leads down one road, because fitness can assist you with achieving your business goals, showing up better, increasing your confidence, and so many more things in between. And I know it's really easy to say fitness takes away from your goals, but simply the harsh truth is that you just haven't integrated it properly. Because when integrated properly, you will see the power. You will see that you're going to show up to a better standard when you're serving clients, when you're on calls, when you're making decisions, when you're managing teams, when you're in networking rooms, when you're at a dinner, when you're in restaurants, when you're out with your family. Everywhere you'll show up better. Here is a step-by-step broken down strategy that Ethan used to make more progress in 7 weeks than the past 4 years of him trying. So step 1 is foundations first. Since we've been working together, what has surprised you the most about the process overall, in terms of how we've got you from that before situation to all of a sudden having that productivity, increasing your output with your business, showing up better for not only your business but for others in life as well?
I think the foundations phase was a very big unlock and different approach to the whole system.
We didn't necessarily start by chasing progress, because we started extremely small. With someone who's been trying for over 4 years and hasn't necessarily cracked it, you don't want to start by trying to maximize everything straight away. You need to start small and slowly build yourself up. And whether you're like Ethan, struggling to get consistent with the gym, or you're like me, who's over 5 years into my gym journey, you need to make sure you build your foundations, or at least go through a foundations phase every now and again. With this in mind, the goal for the first 4 to 6 weeks wasn't actually to maximize results, or actually wasn't to make any progress at all. It was to build habits and a sustainable routine that integrates into your life when things may get chaotic. And ironically, even when the goal was purely building habits and laying down the groundwork, progress actually happened anyway, and that is simply just a byproduct of consistency, no matter how small the things are that we are doing. Now you may be wondering, what do the foundations consist of? And simply the smallest baby steps possible.
And it wasn't just 0 to 100, but instead it was, hey, we're going to try just 3 meals a day. We're going to try just this many liters of water. You're going to try get this many steps. We did it in such little baby pieces that I kind of felt like, okay, I've got to do this, because otherwise I'm just pathetic. Like, I can't.
Now, when I talk about the smallest baby steps possible, I mean eat a certain amount of meals a day, don't even track them, just eat them at this time. And on our first check-in call we had working together, I mapped out a progression through this foundation phase of literally everything he had to do every day for every week.
The second we started working together, the first thing that you did was you gave me the full plan of like, hey, this is what the next 6 months are going to look like. You're going to spend this long in the foundations phase, then in the building phase, and all of these things.
And it was basically a slow but steady progression, and I'm going to put it up on the screen now. And obviously I got to know his situation and who he was and his preferences and everything in between that I needed to know as a coach. And knowing that, I pretty much went away and made this personalized progression of simple baby steps in alignment to what suits him. As you can see, the baby steps are absolutely tiny. Going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, but not worrying about tracking and not worrying about writing anything down, just following a really simple split, hitting 5,000 steps a day, just going on a couple of walks a day, eating a few meals a day and not necessarily tracking them. And as you can notice, there was no things like optimization, there was no hardcore shit, and the goal of this phase is just keep things so basic and just keep the barrier to action so low that action is actually easier in a way than inaction. And I didn't ask him to push hard in the gym, I didn't ask him to spend hours in the kitchen, I just wanted him to build a routine that he could stick to. It's like if you want to run a marathon, obviously when you're training, you'd slowly increase your distance over time to acclimatize your body and train your body up to be able to sustain the pace you need to run or you want to run at a marathon distance. So with that in mind, the foundations phase does not actually have the goal to simply make progress and maximize muscle mass, but to simply build the habits and build a sustainable and consistent routine that you can stick to that is going to enable you to build the muscle mass for the long run. So step 2 of this system was we simplified Ethan's nutrition down to a T. Instead of reinventing every single meal, we built a rotation of simple but repeatable meals. The repetition and predictability meant less deciding, less complexity, less mental overhead every time he sat down to eat, and also minimizing time in the kitchen weekly through iteration. And just as an example, we cut down one of the meals he enjoyed the most from 2.5 hours to just 30 minutes in the kitchen, and that is preparing multiple meals at the same time as well. We planned out when he was going to eat these meals every single day. This made his days more predictable, this made his work blocks more predictable, but also this made his actions more predictable. And the more predictable something is, the less friction and the less resistance you're going to have to taking that action. Therefore, this is why it was so simple for him. And when you set in stone your tasks every day, the more and more you do them over time, the more autonomous it's going to feel. Just as I said at the beginning of the video, now I'm at a point in my gym journey, on my fitness journey, where going to the gym feels as autonomous as brushing my teeth every single day. And this is exactly how Ethan smashed consistency and integration with his diet. In the first week, I got Ethan to eat 4 meals a day, and as you can see in brackets, I say calories don't matter, don't track them, just make sure to keep them healthy. And then in the second week, I still told him to eat 4 meals a day, but there was a slight progression, as you can see. And then what I did here as well is gave him a little list of how to prepare meals, and this just made things super simple. And with breaking down action items into really simple actionables, what you basically want to do is just imagine you've got a white cotton string ball. You essentially just want to unravel that as much as you can until you cannot unravel it anymore, and you've literally got every single thing that you need to do. It's like if you were trying to teach someone how to use a computer, you would teach them how to press button by button. If you wanted them to learn how to type a word and they had never used a computer before, and you wanted them to type fitness, for example, you would say step 1, type the letter F. Step 2, type the letter I. And then once they spelled the letter, you'd say step blah blah blah, press enter. Like, as simple as that. Now on to step 3, which is ensuring that you build your routine around your calendar, not against your calendar. As an entrepreneur, you know that everything you do in a day needs intention, and that intention is to align and assist you in achieving your goal and getting one step closer to your North Star in business. Therefore, if you want to integrate fitness into your life in a way that helps you become a better businessman, you need to integrate it around your calendar, and in a way that your calendar doesn't reject but accept. So not necessarily carving out huge amounts of time for the gym and preparing your meals and being in the kitchen, etc, but we essentially built sessions and his routine around his schedule, around his energy levels, and around his personal preferences also. And for Ethan, we made sure everything that we integrated into the routine was efficient, whether that was meal preparation, time in the gym. And speaking on that, We spent no longer than 1 hour in the gym, and as Ethan is busy with lots of things to do every day, we needed to make sure that he minimized decision fatigue. So essentially, less thinking and more doing. And we did this through 2 variables in particular. The first one was to slow down, broken down, progressive, actionable steps in the foundations phase, which we've already gone over here. And the second thing, which I haven't necessarily mentioned yet, is something called PTT. Now, PTT stands for Plan Tomorrow Today. I made Ethan sit down at the end of every single workday with this PTT sheet for 15 to 20 minutes and map out every single half an hour of his day the next day. Now, this is a prime example of getting a white cotton string ball and unraveling it so far to the point where you can't unravel it anymore, because you will now plan every single half an hour of your day, so you can literally break down your entire day and exactly what you're going to do. So not only is it going to be more predictable, but because it's going to be more predictable, you're going to be faster, you're going to be taking action, and the friction to taking action is going to be so much lower. And what this allowed Ethan to do through the predictability, through the minimizing friction, it allowed him to visualize the next day and mentally prepare. And having the mental advantage is so huge. Now, the final step of this system is accountability to ensure action.
The accountability and encouragement from you when things went well or badly made it very enjoyable to kind of stick to it. And it felt like progressing in a video game where everything just kind of gradually increases instead of this huge jump, which we all try and inevitably fail at.
We were regularly checking in, we were regularly messaging, he was asking me questions, and I was giving him detailed responses. But not only that, because of this regular communication and accountability, we and I made sure that we caught early slips and early signs of things that could affect his progress in the future, and of course we closed those loops as quick as we could. And these are the 4 pillars broken down that Ethan used step by step to gain 9 pounds in 7 weeks and make more progress in such a short time than he did in the previous 4 years of him trying. More structured, more productive, more confident, which he mentioned in this spontaneous post he made here, and I'll let you guys read it if you want to pause. And the main message I want you fellow entrepreneurs or business owners to take away from this video is that fitness doesn't take away from your business, but rather it helps build the person that can operate and run the business at a higher level. Now, if you're an entrepreneur who's been putting your health on the back burner because you think it will take away from your business and it will hold back your success, and if you'd rather skip the trial and error, making the decisions yourself, and you want to shortcut the process like I helped Ethan do, in a way that integrates fitness into your life successfully to help you show up as a better business owner, there's a link to apply for one-on-one coaching down in the description as well. And I'll be looking forward to speaking with you and working out how I can help you. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. If you are still watching up to this point, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts, and also if you want to stay around for more entrepreneurial content like this and more content tailored to you, then a subscription would go a long way. I'll see you in the next one.